This secret is encapsulated in 5 powerful words. Be silent, anything that you want will happen. Now you might be wondering, what does it mean to be silent? And how can silence possibly bring about the manifestation of our deepest desires? My dear friends, the silence I speak of is not merely the absence of sound, but a state of being, a profound inner quietude that allows the creative power within you to work its magic. In this silence, you will find the birthplace of all creation. It is the womb of the universe, the void from which all things emerge. When you learn to cultivate this silence, to nurture it within yourself, you tap into the very source of all that is, was, and ever will be. But let me be clear, this is not a passive silence. It is not a state of inaction or resignation. No, the silence I speak of is alive, vibrant, and pulsing with creative energy. It is a silence filled with the certainty of your desire fulfilled, a silence pregnant with possibility. Imagine, if you will, a seed planted in the earth. Does it make a sound as it grows? Does it announce its intentions to the world? No, it grows in silence, pushing through the soil, reaching for the sun, all without a whisper. And yet in that silence, a miracle unfolds. From a tiny seed emerges a mighty oak, a beautiful flower, or a bountiful fruit tree. Your desires, my friends, are like that seed. They do not need to be shouted from the rooftops or constantly verbalized. In fact, the more you speak of them, the more you rob them their power. Instead, plant them in the fertile soil of your imagination, water them with the certainty of their fulfillment, and then be silent. Allow them to grow in the secret, sacred space of your inner world. This silence is not about suppressing your desires or denying their existence. On the contrary, it's about giving them the space and energy they need to manifest. When you constantly speak about what you want, when you continually focus on the lack of it in your life, you're essentially telling the universe, this is what I don't have. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, continues to reflect that lack back to you. But when you plant your desire in silence, when you nurture it in the quiet certainty of its fulfillment, you're sending a different message. You're saying to the universe, this is already mine. It is done. And the universe has no choice but to conform to this new reality you've created within yourself. Let me share with you a story that illustrates this principle. There was once a man who desperately wanted a promotion at work. He talked about it constantly, telling anyone who'd listen about how much he deserved it, how hard he had worked, and how unfair it was that he hadn't received it yet. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still the promotion eluded him. Then one day he heard these very words we're discussing today. He decided to try a different approach. He stopped talking about the promotion altogether. Instead, he went into the silence of his imagination. There he saw himself sitting in the new office, felt the pride and satisfaction of his new position, heard the congratulations of his colleagues. He lived from the end, experiencing the fulfillment of his desire as a present fact. In his outer world, he continued to work diligently, but he no longer spoke of the promotion. He no longer complained about not having it. He simply knew in the depths of his being that it was already his. And do you know what happened? Within a month, he was called into his boss's office and offered the very position he had been imagining. This, my friends, is the power of silence. It is the power of living from the end, of experiencing your desire fulfilled in the inner world of imagination. For when you do this, when you truly embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to reshape itself to match your intent. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just positive thinking? Isn't this just another version of the power of positive thought? And to that I say emphatically no. This is not mere positive thinking. This is not about trying to convince yourself that something good might happen. This is about knowing with absolute certainty that what you desire is already yours. You see, in the realm of imagination, there is no future. There is only the eternal now. When you enter into the silence of your imagination and experience your desire as fulfilled, you are not hoping for a future event. You are experiencing a present reality. And it is this present experience, this living from the end, that has the power to reshape your world. Let me explain further. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, are nothing more than the outpicturing of your states. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, your job, your relationships, your financial situation, these are all shadows, reflections of what you hold to be true in your imagination. So when you enter into the silence and live from the end, experiencing your desire as fulfilled, you are quite literally changing your world from the inside out. You are impressing upon the subconscious mind a new concept of self, a new pattern of thinking and being. And your subconscious mind, which knows no difference between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced in the outer world, begins to work tirelessly to bring about the conditions that match this new self-concept. This, my dear friends, is why silence is so powerful. In silence, you are free from the limitations of your current circumstances. In silence, you are free from the doubts and fears that may plague your waking mind. In silence, you are free to be, to experience, to live as the person who has already achieved their heart's desire. But let me be clear, this silence, this living from the end, is not a one-time event. It's not something you do once and then sit back and wait for results. No, it is a state of being that you must return to again and again until it becomes your natural way of existing in the world. Think of it like this. If you were to plant a seed and then immediately after see if it had grown, what would happen? The seed would never have the chance to take root, to sprout, to grow into the magnificent plant it was meant to be. In the same way, if you enter into the silence, experience your desires fulfilled, and then immediately return to your old patterns of thinking and speaking, constantly checking to see if your desire has manifested, you rob it of the very energy it needs to come into being. Instead, you must trust in the process. You must have faith in the power of your imagination. You must know with every fiber of your being that what you have experienced in the silence of your imagination is more real, more true than anything you can see or touch in the outer world. This brings us to another crucial aspect of being silent, letting go. Once you have planted the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your imagination, once you have lived from the end and experienced it as fulfilled, you must let it go. Release it into the hands of the universe, trusting that the same power that turns an acorn into an oak tree, that turns a caterpillar into a butterfly, will bring your desire into manifestation. This letting go is not about forgetting your desire or no longer wanting it. It's about releasing the anxiety, the doubt, the need to control how and when it will come about. It's about surrendering to the wisdom of the universe, knowing that it has infinite ways of bringing about what you desire, ways that your limited human mind could never conceive of. Remember, the universe is not constrained by what you consider possible or probable. It operates according to laws that transcend human understanding. Your job is not to figure out how your desire will manifest. Your job is simply to live from the end, to be the person who already has what they desire, and to trust in the perfect unfolding of divine timing. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what if I have multiple desires? What if there are many things I want to manifest in my life? And to that I say, wonderful. The creative power within you is limitless. It is not constrained by time or space or the number of desires you hold in your heart. However, I would caution you against trying to focus on too many things at once. Remember, the power lies in your ability to live from the end, to fully embody the feeling of your desire fulfilled. This becomes more challenging when you're juggling multiple desires. Instead, I suggest you focus on one primary desire at a time. Choose the one that, if fulfilled, would have the greatest positive impact on your life. Then enter into the silence and live from the end of that desire fulfilled. As you do this, you may find that many of your other desires naturally fall into place. For when you change your concept of self at a fundamental level, every aspect of your life begins to shift to align with this new self-concept. Let's delve deeper into this concept of living from the end. What does it really mean to live although your desire is already fulfilled? It means assuming the feeling, the state of consciousness of the person who already has what you desire. If your desire is for financial abundance, then in the silence of your imagination, feel the peace and security that comes with having more than enough. Feel the joy of being able to buy what you want when you want. Feel the satisfaction of being able to help others, to give generously. Embody these feelings so completely that when you open your eyes and return to your Shanti, If your desire is for a loving relationship, then in your imagination, feel the warmth of your partner's embrace. Feel the joy of shared laughter, the comfort of deep understanding. Feel the satisfaction of giving and receiving love freely and fully. Let these feelings permeate your being so completely that you carry the energy of love with you wherever you go. If your desire is for a successful career, then in your inner world, feel the pride of achievement. Feel the satisfaction of doing work you love. Feel the respect and admiration of your colleagues. Embody these feelings so thoroughly that you begin to carry yourself with the confidence and poise of someone who is already successful. The key here is feeling. Your feelings are the secret to your power. They are the language of the subconscious mind, the fuel that powers your manifestations. When you can genuinely feel as though your desire is fulfilled, when you can maintain that feeling regardless of your outer circumstances, you have mastered the art of creation. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. Aren't we just fooling ourselves? And to that I say emphatically no. You are not deceiving yourself. You are aligning yourself with a higher truth, a deeper reality. You see, my dear friends, time is an illusion. The future you desire already exists in the infinite now of imagination. When you enter into the silence and live from the end, you are not creating something new. You are simply choosing to experience a reality that already exists. Think of it like this. I imagine you are in a dark room and there's a light switch on the wall. The electricity, the potential for light is already there. It exists whether the switch is on or off. When you flip the switch, you're not creating the light. You're simply choosing to experience it. In the same way, when you live from the end in your imagination, you're not creating your desire. You're choosing to experience it, to align yourself with it. This is why being silent is so crucial. When you constantly talk about what you want, when you focus on the lack of it in your life, you're essentially keeping the light switch off. You're choosing to experience the reality of not having. But when you go into the silence, when you live from the end and feel the joy of your desire fulfilled, you're flipping that switch. You're choosing to experience the reality where your desire is already manifest. Now I want to address something that many of you may be struggling with. You might be thinking, but Neville, I've tried this. I've imagined my desire fulfilled. I've tried to feel it real, but nothing has changed. What am I doing wrong? My dear friends, if this is you, I want you to know that you're not alone. Many people struggle with this at first. The key lies in persistence and in truly understanding what it means to live from the fan. You see, living from the end is not about visualizing your desire for a few minutes each day and then returning to your old patterns of thinking and being. It's about a fundamental shift in your self-concept. It's about becoming, in your imagination and in your feeling, the person who already has what you desire. This takes practice, it's dedication. It takes a willingness to challenge your old beliefs and patterns of thinking. But most of all, it takes faith. Faith not in some external power, but in the creative power of your own imagination. Remember, your imagination is not separate from reality. It is the very substance of reality. The world you see around you was once only imagined. Every invention, every work of art, every human achievement began as a seed in someone's imagination. Your desires are no different. They are the seeds of your future reality, waiting to be planted in the fertile soil of your imagination and nurtured in the silence of your being. So if you've been struggling, I urge you not to give up. Return to the silence. Go deeper into the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Make it more real, more vivid, more alive within you. And most importantly, persist. Persist in the face of every contrary appearance in your outer world. For it is your persistence, your unwavering faith in the reality of your amadat that will ultimately bring it into manifestation. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of this process, detachment. When I say be silent, anything that you wish will happen, the silence I'm referring to also includes a detachment from the how and when of your manifestation. You see, many people make the mistake of trying to control every aspect of their manifestation. They imagine their desire fulfilled, but then they start worrying about how it will come about. They start trying to manipulate people and circumstances to bring about their desire. But this is a form of doubt. It's a lack of faith in the power of your imaginal act. True silence, true faith, means letting go of the need to control. It means trusting that the same intelligence that keeps your heart beating, that grows your hair and nails, that maintains the perfect balance of life on this planet, is more than capable of bringing your desire into manifestation in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This detachment is not indifference. It's not about not caring whether your desire manifests or not. Rather, it's about being so certain of its manifestation that you no longer feel the need to manipulate or control. It's about resting in the absolute knowing that what you have experienced in your imagination is more real than anything in your outer world, and that your outer world must by law conform to this inner reality. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine you've ordered a package online. Once you've placed the order, do you sit by your mailbox day and night, worrying about whether the package will arrive? Do you call the shipping company every hour to check on its status? Of course not. You trust that the package is on its way. You go about your life knowing that it will arrive at the perfect time. This is the kind of detachment I'm talking about. Once you've placed your order with the universe by living from the end in your imagination, let it be done. Trust that it's on its way. Go about your life from the state of consciousness of someone who already has what they desire. Now, this doesn't mean you become passive. You still take inspired action when it presents itself. But this action comes from a place of being, not from a place of lack or need. It's the natural expression of the new you, the you that is living from the end. Let's delve deeper into this concept of inspired action. When you're truly living from the end, when you fully embody the state of consciousness of having your desire fulfilled, you'll find that opportunities and inspirations naturally come to you. These are not actions you force or plan. They arise spontaneously from your new state of being. For instance, if you're living from the end of being financially abundant, you might suddenly feel inspired to start a new business venture. If you're living from the end of being in a loving relationship, you might feel moved to join a new social group where you'll meet like-minded people. These inspirations are your new state of consciousness expressing itself in your outer world. The key is to follow these inspirations without attachment to the outcome. You're not taking these actions to make your desire happen. You're taking them because they're the natural expression of who you now are in your imagination. This brings us to another important point, the role of action in this process. Some people misunderstand the principle of living from the end and think it means they should do nothing in their outer world. They believe that if they just imagine enough, their desire will magically appear without any effort on their part. But this is not what living from the end means. Living from the end doesn't negate action, it informs action. When you're truly living from the end, your actions naturally align with your desired state. You begin to act like the person who already has what you desire. If you're living from the end of being a successful author, for example, if you'll sit around waiting for a book to magically appear with your name, you write, you edit, you submit your work to publishers. But you do all of this from the state of consciousness of already being a successful author. You're not writing to become an author. You're writing because you are an author. This subtle shift in consciousness makes all the difference. It takes the struggle out of your actions. It aligns you with opportunities that support your new state of being. It allows you to act with confidence and certainty, knowing that you're not working towards your desire, but from your desire already fulfilled. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be grappling with. You might be thinking, but Neville, what about the evidence of my senses? How can I live from the end when everything in my outer world tells me that my desire is not yet fulfilled? This, my dear friends, is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, not wishful thinking, not faith, but faith based on understanding. Understanding that your senses show you the world that was, not the world that is becoming. Understanding that your imagination is the true substance of reality, and that what you see in your outer world is simply the shadow cast by your inner states. Your senses are wonderful servants, but they make poor masters. They can only show you what has been, what has already manifested. But your imagination shows you what can be, what is in the process of becoming. When you live from the end, When you experience your desire as fulfilled in your imagination, you are seeing with the eye of faith. You are perceiving a reality that your physical senses cannot yet detect, but which is nonetheless real and in the process of manifesting. This is why silence is so crucial. In the silence of your imagination, you are free from the limitations imposed by your senses. You are free to experience your desire as fulfilled, regardless of what your outer world is showing you. But make no mistake, this is not about denying your current reality or pretending that things are different than they are. It's about understanding that your current reality is the result of past thoughts and beliefs, and that by changing your inner state, you set in motion the forces that will change your outer world. Think of it like this. Your outer world is like a mirror, reflecting back to you your innermost thoughts and beliefs. When you change what's being reflected, your inner state, the reflection must change. It has no choice. This is law. So when your senses tell you that your desire is not yet fulfilled, don't argue with them. Don't try to convince yourself that what you're seeing isn't real. Instead, thank your senses for showing you what has been, and then return to the silence of your imagination where you can experience what will be. This is the true meaning of faith. It's not about believing despite evidence to the contrary. It's about knowing that the evidence of your imagination is more real, more substantial than anything your physical senses can show you. Now let's talk about something that many of you may be struggling with, the concept of time in relation to your manifestations. When I say be silent anything that you wish will happen, many of you might be wondering, but when will it happen? How long do I have to wait? My dear friends, these questions, while natural, come from a misunderstanding of the nature of time and manifestation. You see, in the realm of imagination, there is no time. There is only the eternal now. When you truly live from the end, when you fully embody the state of your desire fulfilled, you're not waiting for anything to happen. It has already happened in the only place it ever could happen, in your consciousness. The appearance of your desire in your outer world is not the manifestation. It's merely the shadow, the outer reflection of what has already occurred within you. The true manifestation, the real creation, happens the moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and believe in its reality. From this perspective, there is no waiting. There is only being the person who already has what you desire, living from that state of consciousness, allowing your outer world to catch up with your inner knowing. This is why patience is so important in this process. Not the kind of patience that comes from gritting your teeth and enduring until something happens, but the patience that comes from absolute knowing. The kind of patience you have when you've planted a seed. You don't stand over it, demanding that it grow faster. You trust in the natural process of growth, knowing that in its own perfect timing, the seed will sprout and grow into a magnificent plant. Your desires are like that seed. Once planted in the fertile soil of your imagination and nurtured with the feeling of their fulfillment, they will manifest in your outer world in their own perfect timing. Your job is not to make them grow faster, but to maintain the state of consciousness of already having them. This brings us to another important point, the concept of revision. Sometimes, despite our best efforts to live from the end, we find ourselves slipping back into old patterns of thinking and being. We might have moments of doubt, or we might react to our current circumstances in ways that contradict our desired state. When this happens, it's crucial not to blame yourself or to see it as a failure. Instead, use the power of revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If there were any moments where you reacted from a state of lack or limitation, revise them. See yourself responding from the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel how you would have felt, thought how you would have thought, if your desire was already manifest. This practice of revision serves two purposes. First, it reinforces your desired state of consciousness, helping you to more consistently live from the instinct. Second, it literally rewrites your subconscious memories. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. By revising your day in your imagination, you're literally changing your past, and in doing so, changing the trajectory of future. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be concerned about. You might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this selfish? Shouldn't I be focusing on helping others rather than manifesting my own desires? My dear friends, This is a common misconception, but it couldn't be further from the truth. You see, when you live from the end, when you embody the state of consciousness of your desire fulfilled, you become more, not less. You expand your capacity to give, to love, to serve. Think about it. If your desire is for financial abundance and you successfully manifest that abundance, aren't you in a better position to help others? If your desire is for radiant health and you manifest that health, aren't you better able to care for those around you? If your desire is for a fulfilling relationship and you manifest that relationship, don't you have more love to share with the world? You see, manifesting your desires is not about greed or selfishness. It's about becoming the fullest, most expanded version of yourself. It's about aligning yourself with the abundance of the universe so that you can be a channel for that abundance to flow to others. Moreover, when you master this principle of living from the end, you gain the ability to help others in profound ways. You can teach them this principle, showing them how to transform their own lives. You become a living example of what's possible when one aligns themselves with the creative power of their imagination. So never feel guilty about focusing on your desires. Your desires are not random. They are the universe speaking to you, showing you the direction of your growth and expansion. By fulfilling your desires, you are fulfilling your purpose, becoming more of who you truly are. And in doing so, you naturally uplift those around you. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to commit to living from the end of your most cherished desire. Choose one desire, the one that resonates most deeply with you, and for the next 30 days, live as though it were already fulfilled. Each night before you go to sleep, enter into the silence of your imagination. See yourself in the scenario of your desire fulfilled. Feel the feelings you would feel if your desire were already manifest. Experience it with all your senses. Make it as real and as vivid as you possibly can. Then carry that feeling with you throughout your day. No matter what your outer circumstances show you, maintain the inner knowing that your desire is already yours. Be silent about it. Don't speak of it as something you want or need. Live from the state of already having it. If you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of thinking or being, don't berate yourself. Simply revise those moments in your imagination. See yourself responding from the state of a wish fulfilled. At the end of these 30 days, you will be amazed at the changes that have occurred, not just in your outer world, but in your inner world as well. You will have developed a new habit of consciousness, a new way of being in the world. Remember, my dear friends, you are not bound by your past or by your current circumstances. You are bound only by your imagination and your willingness to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. The power to change your life, to manifest your heart's desires, lies within you. It always has, and it always will. Imagine for a moment that you are a vessel, a sacred chalice filled with the purest water of life. This water is your creative energy, your dreams, your deepest desires. Now picture yourself walking through a crowded street, this precious chalice in your hands. Would you not guard it carefully? Would you not be mindful of every step, lest a single drop spill and be lost forever? This, my dear friends, is the essence of what I'm about to share with you tonight. God wants you to be silent. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Almighty, the infinite creative power that resides within you desires your silence. But why, you might ask? Why would the Creator of all things, the source of every word ever spoken, wish for your silence? The answer lies in the very nature of creation itself. You see, creation is not a loud, boisterous act. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare and trumpets. No, true creation, the kind that shapes worlds and molds destinies, happens in the quiet depths of your imagination. It's in those silent moments when the world falls away and you're left alone with your thoughts that the seed of your desires takes root. Consider the words of the psalmist, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not merely a suggestion, but a profound instruction on the art of creation. In your stillness, in your silence, you allow the God within you to speak. And when God speaks, worlds come into being. But there's more to this silence than just allowing for divine communion. You have to be careful what you reveal to people. This isn't about being secretive or distrustful. No, it's about understanding the delicate nature of your creative power. You see, every word you speak, every desire you voice, every dream you share, these are all acts of creation. The moment you give voice to a thought, you're releasing it into the world. And once released, it begins to take on a life of its own. It interacts with the thoughts and energies of those around you. Sometimes this interaction can be beneficial, amplifying your desire and bringing it closer to manifestation. But other times, and this is crucial to understand, it can dilute your creative power. Think of it this way: when you plant a seed in the ground, do you immediately dig it up to show everyone? Of course not. You understand that the seed needs time in the darkness, protected from the elements, to germinate and grow strong. Your desires, your dreams, the seeds of creation, they need time in the fertile soil of your imagination, protected from the harsh lights of skepticism and doubt, to take root and grow strong. This is why God wants you to be silent. This silence is not a punishment or a restriction. It's a gift, a sacred space in which your creative power can flourish unimpeded. Now, you might be thinking, but how can I manifest my desires if I don't speak them into existence? This is a common misconception. You see, true manifestation doesn't happen through your words to others. It happens through your inner conversations, through the thoughts and feelings you cultivate within yourself. Remember the biblical principle: as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Notice it doesn't say, as a man speaketh with his mouth. The true creative power lies in your heart, in your deepest beliefs and feelings. This is where you need to focus your energy. When you understand this principle, you begin to see why you need to be careful what you reveal to people. Every time you speak of your desires to others, you're exposing these delicate seeds of creation to potential harm. Not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone will support your dreams. And even those who do may inadvertently introduce doubt or limitation into your creative process. This doesn't mean you should never share your dreams or goals. There are times when sharing can be powerful and beneficial. But you must be discerning. You must learn to recognize when silence is the more powerful choice. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, when I first began to understand these truths, I had a deep desire to travel the world and share these teachings. But I was at the time a simple working man with limited means. The logical part of my mind told me this was impossible. The world around me seemed to confirm this limitation. But I understood the power of silence. Instead of speaking about my desire to others, seeking their approval or support, I took it into the silence of my imagination. Night after night, I would lie in my bed and imagine myself standing on stages around the world, sharing these truths with eager listeners. I felt the joy of it, the fulfillment, the sense of purpose. I didn't speak a word of this to anyone. I simply lived it in my imagination, knowing that what I was experiencing internally was more real than any external circumstance. And do you know what happened? Within a year, opportunities began to present themselves. Doors opened that I never could have anticipated. And before I knew it, I found myself traveling the world, just as I had imagined. The seed I had planted in silence had grown into a mighty tree. This, my friends, is the power of silence. This is why God wants you to be silent. In your silence, you're not denying your desires or suppressing your dreams. You're nurturing them, protecting them, allowing them to grow strong before exposing them to the world. Now, let's delve deeper into the concept of being careful what you reveal to people. This isn't about living in fear or constant suspicion. It's about understanding the nature of energy and influence. Every person you interact with carries their own energy, their own beliefs, their own limitations. When you share your dreams and desires with them, you're inviting their energy to mingle with yours. Sometimes this can be incredibly powerful. If you're sharing with someone who truly believes in you and your vision, their belief can amplify your own, accelerating your manifestation. But more often than not, people will project their own limitations onto your dreams. They might not do this maliciously. In fact, they might think they're being helpful, protecting you from disappointment or failure. But in reality, they're introducing doubt and limitation into your creative process. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. When Joseph shared his dreams with his brothers, their reaction was one of jealousy and disbelief. They couldn't see the divine promise in Joseph's visions. Instead, they saw only their own limitations and insecurities reflected back at them, and their reaction nearly derailed Joseph's destiny. This is why you must be careful what you reveal to people. Not everyone is ready to support the vastness of your vision. Not everyone can handle the magnitude of your dreams, and that's okay. It's not their job to believe in your dreams. It's yours. Your dreams, your desires, these are sacred communications between you and the God within you. They're not meant for casual conversation or idle chatter. They're meant to be nurtured in the quiet of your heart, in the stillness of your mind. Think of yourself as a pregnant woman carrying a precious life within her. In those early stages of pregnancy, when the life is just beginning to form, the wise woman is careful about who she tells. She understands the delicate nature of new life. She knows that not everyone will understand or appreciate the miracle growing within her, so she keeps it to herself, nurturing it in silence, protecting it from harmful energies or negative influences. Your dreams are like that unborn child. They're delicate, precious, full of potential. They need your protection, your nurturing, your unwavering belief. And in the early stages, they often need your silence. But let me be clear, this silence is not about deception or secrecy. It's about discernment. It's about understanding the appropriate time and place for sharing. It's about recognizing that not every thought needs to be voiced. Not every desire needs to be announced to the world. In fact, there's incredible power in keeping your dreams to yourself. When you don't reveal your plans to others, you're free from their expectations, their doubts, their limitations. You're able to move in silence to work on your dreams without the pressure of external validation or criticism. Think of the mighty oak tree. It doesn't announce its intentions to grow tall and strong. It doesn't seek permission or validation from the flowers and shrubs around it. It simply grows silently and steadily, reaching for the sky with unwavering determination. You are that oak tree. Your dreams are your branches reaching for the heavens. And the silence? The silence is your roots growing deep and strong, anchoring you firmly in the soil of faith and conviction. Now you might be wondering, but what about the power of positive affirmations? Haven't we been taught to speak our desires into existence? This is a valid question, and it brings us to an important distinction. There is indeed power in the spoken word, but the most powerful words are not those you speak to others. They're the words you speak to yourself in the privacy of your own mind and heart. These are your true affirmations. These are the words that shape your reality. When you understand this, you begin to see why God wants you to be silent. It's not about suppressing your voice. It's about redirecting it inward to where your true creative power resides. Instead of telling others about your dreams, tell yourself. Instead of seeking external validation, give yourself the approval and encouragement you need. Create an inner dialogue that supports and uplifts you. This is the true power of affirmation. Remember the words of Jesus, but when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. This isn't just about prayer in the traditional sense. It's about all forms of communion with the divine within you. It's about those moments when you align your thoughts and feelings with your deepest desires. Your room is your consciousness. The closed door is your ability to shut out the noise and opinions of the outside world. And the unseen Father is the creative power within you, the God that resides in the depths of your being. When you learn to commune with this power in silence, when you learn to nurture your dreams in the quiet of your own consciousness, you tap into a wellspring of creative energy that is truly limitless. But this requires discipline. It requires the strength to hold your tongue when others ask about your plans. It requires the wisdom to discern when to speak and when to remain silent. It requires the faith to trust in the unsayers of creation, even when the outside world demands evidence and proof. This discipline, this silence is not always easy. We live in a world that values constant communication, that encourages us to share every thought and feeling. Social media platforms tempt us to broadcast our every move, our every aspiration. But remember, not everything needs to be shared. Not every thought needs to be tweeted. Not every dream needs to be posted on Instagram. In fact, the most powerful transformations often happen in silence. Think of the caterpillar in its cocoon. If it were to break open the cocoon prematurely to show the world its progress, it would never become a butterfly. The transformation requires darkness, silence, and patience. Your dreams are undergoing a similar transformation. In the silence of your imagination, they're taking shape, growing stronger, preparing to burst forth into reality. But this process cannot be rushed. It cannot be exposed prematurely in the harsh light of public scrutiny. So how do you navigate this? How do you maintain this powerful silence in a world that constantly demands your voice? Here are a few practical tips. First, cultivate a rich inner life. Spend time each day in quiet contemplation, exploring the landscape of your imagination. This is where your true creative work happens. This is where you plant the seeds of your future reality. Second, practice discernment in your speech. Before you speak about your dreams or plans, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this beneficial? Will sharing this amplify my creative power, or will it dilute it? Learn to be comfortable with keeping things to yourself. Third, find alternative ways to process your thoughts and feelings. Instead of talking to others about your dreams, try journaling. Write down your aspirations, your plans, your progress. This allows you to externalize your thoughts without exposing them to potentially harmful influences. Fourth, surround yourself with like-minded individuals who understand the power of silence. These are people who won't constantly pry into your affairs, who respect your need for privacy and introspection. In their presence, you can be silent without feeling pressure to share. Fifth, when you do feel the need to share, be selective. Choose carefully who you confide in. Look for those rare individuals who can hold space for your dreams without imposing their own limitations or doubts. Sixth, learn to redirect conversations. When others ask about your plans or progress, practice the art of giving satisfying yet non-revealing answers. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your internal processes. And finally, trust in the process. Trust that your silence is not inaction, but the most potent form of creation. Trust that in your silence, you're communing with the infinite creative power of the universe. Remember, your silence is not emptiness. It's not a void. Your silence is pregnant with possibility. It's the fertile soil in which the seeds of your desires are taking root. It's the quiet incubator where your dreams are gestating, growing stronger day by day. In your silence, you're not doing nothing. You're doing the most important work of all. You're aligning your inner world with your desires. You're vibrating at the frequency of your dreams. You're becoming in consciousness what you wish to be in reality. This is the true meaning of the phrase, be still and know that I am God. In your stillness, in your silence, you're allowing the God within you, the infinite creative power of the universe, to work unimpeded. You're creating space for miracles to occur. And make no mistake, miracles are occurring. Every moment that you maintain this powerful silence, every moment that you nurture your dreams in the quiet of your imagination, you're setting in motion forces beyond your comprehension. You are activating universal laws that respond not to your words, but to the contents of your consciousness. This is why you must be careful what you reveal to people. Because what you hold in consciousness is far more powerful than what you speak with your lips. Your inner conversations, your deeply held beliefs, your unwavering faith, these are the true creators of your reality. So guard these inner conversations jealously. Protect them from doubt, from negativity, from the well-meaning but limiting beliefs of others. Your mind is the garden in which the flowers of your future are growing. Be selective about what and who you allow into this garden. Now I want to address a concern that might be arising in some of you. You might be thinking, but isn't this selfish? Shouldn't we share our blessing with others? This is a beautiful sentiment, and it comes from a place of generosity. But remember, you cannot give what you do not have. By nurturing your dreams in silence, by allowing them to grow strong before exposing them to the world, you're actually preparing yourself to be of greater service to others. You're ensuring that when you do step out into the world, when you do begin to share your gifts, you're doing so from a place of abundance and strength. Think of it this way. A tree doesn't bear fruit immediately. It takes time to grow strong, to develop deep roots, to reach towards the sky. Only when it has matured does it begin to produce fruit for others to enjoy. You are that tree. Your silence, your careful nurturing of your dreams is your growing season. The time for bearing fruit, for sharing your abundance with the world will come. But first you must grow strong. This is not selfishness. This is responsible stewardship of your gifts. This is honoring the divine creative power within you by giving it the space and silence it needs to work its miracles. And let me tell you something remarkable. As you practice this principle, as you learn to be silent and careful with what you reveal, you'll begin to notice a change in how you interact with the world. You'll find yourself becoming more observant, more intuitive. You'll start to recognize the power of silence in others. You'll develop a deeper appreciation for the unspoken, for the subtle energies that flow beneath the surface of everyday interactions. This heightened awareness will serve you well. It will help you navigate the world with greater wisdom and discernment. You'll become adept at recognizing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. This is the true mastery that comes from understanding the power of silence. But perhaps most importantly, you'll discover a deep sense of peace. In a world that often feels chaotic and noisy, your ability to retreat into silence will become your greatest strength. It will be your sanctuary, your place of renewal and inspiration. In this silence, you'll find answers to questions you haven't even thought to ask. You'll uncover depths of creativity you never knew you possessed. You'll tap into reservoirs of strength and resilience that will astound you. In this sacred silence, you'll discover the true nature of your being. You'll realize that you are not separate from the creative power of the universe, but an integral part of it. Your thoughts, your feelings, your deepest desires, these are not just idle fancies, but the very substance of creation. By holding them in the quiet of your heart, by nurturing them in silence, you're allowing them to gather strength and momentum. As you practice this principle of silence and careful revelation, you'll begin to see changes in your external world. Opportunities will arise that align perfectly with your inner vision. People will enter your life who resonate with your unspoken dreams. Circumstances will arrange themselves in ways that support your growth and evolution. This is not coincidence or luck. It's the natural result of aligning your inner world with the creative power of the universe. Remember, your silence is not passivity. It's not resignation or defeat. Your silence is active, potent, filled with the energy of creation. In your silence, you're not doing nothing. You're doing everything. You're communing with the infinite, shaping reality at its most fundamental level. This is the true power that God wants you to understand and embody. So go forth from here with a new appreciation for the power of silence. Guard your dreams carefully. Nurture them in the quiet of your heart. Be discerning about what you reveal to others. Understanding that your inner world is sacred and powerful. Trust in the process of silent creation, knowing that what you hold in consciousness will inevitably manifest in your reality. And finally, remember that this practice of silence and careful revelation is not just for your own benefit. As you master this principle, as you learn to create powerfully from the silence of your being, you become a beacon of possibility for others. Your life becomes a testament to the creative power that resides within all of us. In your silence, you speak volumes. In your careful stewardship of your dreams, you teach others the true nature of creation. This is your gift to the world, not just the fruits of your dreams, but the example of how those dreams are nurtured and brought to life. The world you see around you is not the cause of your experience, but the effect. It is the outpicturing of your inner states of consciousness. Every circumstance, every person, every experience in your life is a reflection of your own thoughts and beliefs. When you grasp this fundamental truth, you realize that the repayment you seek is not about receiving something from an external source. It is about shifting your consciousness to a state where what you desire already exists. For in truth, nothing is ever lost. It simply exists in a state that you are not currently occupying. Consider for a moment, have you ever misplaced an object in your home, only to find it later exactly where it should have been? The object was never lost. It was always there. You simply weren't occupying the state of consciousness where you were aware of its location. The same principle applies to everything you believe you have lost in life. Now you might be wondering, but Neville, how can I shift my consciousness to a state where I have what I thought was lost? This is an excellent question, and it brings us to the heart of our discussion. The key lies in your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is not mere fantasy or daydreaming. It is God in action within you. It is the creative power through which all things are made. When you imagine, you are literally reshaping the substance of the universe. To receive repayment for what you thought was lost, you must use your imagination to occupy the state where you already have it. You must feel the reality of it, experience the joy of it, live from the assumption that it is already yours. This is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about aligning yourself with the truth of your desire at the level of cause. For remember, your outer world is simply a reflection of your inner states. As you change within, your outer world has no choice but to conform. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, how can I imagine having something when my current reality shows me its absence? This, my dear friends, is where faith comes in, but not blind faith. Faith based on understanding the law. You see, your physical reality is nothing more than the outpicturing of your past assumptions. It is the harvest of seeds you have previously sown in your consciousness. To change your reality, to receive repayment for what you thought was lost, you must plant new seeds. You must assume a new state of being. When you imagine having what you desire, when you feel the reality of it, you are planting these new seeds. You are assuming the state of one who already has what they desire. And as you persist in this state, your outer world has no choice but to conform to this new inner conviction. This is the true meaning of the biblical phrase, ask and it shall be given you. It is not a plea to an external deity. It is a reminder of your own divine creative power. When you ask, you are declaring your desire as an accomplished fact to your own subconscious mind, which is one with the universal mind. Now let us address a common misconception. Many believe that to manifest their desires to receive repayment for what they thought was lost, they must visualize every detail of how it will come to pass. But I tell you now, this is not necessary and can even be counterproductive. Your job is not to figure out the how. Your job is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The infinite intelligence of the universe will take care of the how in ways far beyond what your limited conscious mind can conceive. Think of it like this. When you order something online, you don't concern yourself with the logistics of how it will be delivered. You simply place the order and trust that it will arrive. The same principle applies when you seek repayment from the universe. You place your order with the cosmic catalog, so to speak, and then you let go and trust in its delivery. This brings us to another crucial point, the importance of letting go. After you have assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled, after you have planted the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, you must release it. You must fall asleep to the desire, confident in its fulfillment. This letting go is not indifference. It is supreme confidence. It is the knowing that your desire is already yours in the realm of imagination, which is the very substance of reality. As you sleep in this assumption, your subconscious mind goes to work, aligning all the necessary forces to bring about the manifestation of your desire. Now let us explore the concept of revision in relation to receiving repayment for what you thought was lost. Revision is the art of reimagining past events in a way that aligns with your desired reality. This is crucial because your subconscious mind draws upon your memories to create your current experience. When you revise your past, you are literally rewriting the script of your life. You are creating a past that naturally leads to your desired present and future. Instead of dwelling on loss, revise those experiences. See them as stepping stones, as necessary parts of your journey that led you to this moment of revelation and repayment. This practice of revision, combined with living in the state of your wish fulfilled, creates a powerful alignment in your consciousness. You are creating a new past, present, and future all at once, all aligned with the repayment you seek. Now, let us address the concept everyone is you pushed out. This principle states that everyone in your world is a reflection of your consciousness. The way people treat you, the opportunities that come your way, even the seemingly random events in your life, all are reflections of your state of being. When you shift your consciousness to a state of having received repayment for what you thought was lost, you naturally begin to see others differently. You see them as playing their perfect part in the divine unfolding of your desire. This shift in perception allows for miraculous changes in your relationships and circumstances. Let us now discuss the importance of gratitude in receiving repayment from the universe. Gratitude is not just a polite sentiment, it is a powerful creative force. When you are truly grateful, you are acknowledging the presence of your desire in your life. You are affirming its reality even before it manifests in the physical realm. As you seek repayment for what you thought was lost, cultivate a deep sense of gratitude. Be thankful not just for what you can see and touch, but for the unseen blessings that are even now unfolding in your life. Give thanks for the wisdom that guides you, the love that surrounds you, and the power that resides within you. This gratitude aligns you with the frequency of your desire, speeding up its manifestation. It puts you in a state of receptivity, opening you to receive even greater blessings. Now, let us address the concept of the Sabbath. The Sabbath, in this context, is not about a particular day of the week, but about a state of mind. It is a state of complete rest from all effort, a state of knowing that your work is done. When you seek repayment, from the universe. When you have assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled, enter this Sabbath state. Rest in the certainty that your desire is fulfilled. In this state, you no longer feel the need to make your desire happen because you know it is already done. Let us explore the concept of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean not caring about your desire. It means releasing your anxious attachment to how or when it will manifest. When you are anxiously attached to an outcome, you are actually affirming the absence of your desire. True detachment comes from the deep knowing that your desire is already yours in consciousness, and therefore must manifest in your physical reality. It's a state of calm certainty, of knowing the law is at work, even when you can't see the evidence yet. Now let us discuss the power of your imagination once more. Your imagination is not mere fantasy or daydreaming. It is God in action within you. It is the creative power through which all things are made. When you seek repayment from the universe, use your imagination to its fullest potential. Imagine yourself having already received what you thought was lost. Feel the joy of it, the relief, the satisfaction. Live from that state. For in doing so, you are literally reshaping the substance of your reality. Let us address the importance of self-love in this process. Many people struggle to receive repayment from the universe because they don't believe they are worthy of it. But I tell you now, worthiness has nothing to do with it. You are worthy because you exist. You are God's creation, and God only creates perfection. Cultivate self-love as you seek repayment from the universe. Know that you are deserving of all good things simply because you are. This self-love creates a powerful foundation for manifesting your desires. Now let us explore the concept of the law of reversed effort. This law states that the harder you try to achieve something, the more you push it away. This is why letting go and trusting is so powerful. It allows you to align with the natural flow of creation without the interference of struggle or forced effort. Think of it like this when you're learning to swim. If you thrash about frantically, you'll sink. But if you relax and trust the water to hold you up, you float effortlessly. The same principle applies to receiving repayment from the universe. Let us discuss the role of silence in this process. After you have done your imaginal work, after you have assumed the feeling of having received repayment for what you thought was lost, there comes time for silence. This silence is not just external, but internal. It is a cessation of all inner chatter about your desire. In this silence, you allow the seed of your desire to take root and grow. You do not dig it up repeatedly to check on its progress. You trust in the law, knowing that what is done in consciousness must manifest in reality. Now let us address the concept of living in the end once more. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are not hoping for something to happen in the future. You are experiencing your desire as a present fact. This state of living in the end collapses time and brings your desire into the present moment. Remember, in the realm of imagination, where all creation takes place, there is no time. Your desire is fulfilled the moment you assume the feeling of its fulfillment with conviction. The time it takes for this to appear in your physical reality is determined by your faith and your persistence in the assumed state. Let us explore the concept of the observer effect in quantum physics. In the quantum world, the act of observing something changes it. Your observation, your consciousness, affects the behavior of subatomic particles. This principle applies to your life as well. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are choosing to observe your reality from the perspective of already having received it. This observation literally shapes your reality at a quantum level, bringing your desire into manifestation. Now let us discuss the importance of feeling in this process. Feeling is the secret. It's not enough to intellectually know that repayment is possible, or even to visualize it clearly. You must feel the reality of it. when you seek repayment from the universe, allow yourself to fully feel the joy, the excitement, the gratitude of having received it. These elevated emotions are the fuel that gives life to your manifestations. They align you with the frequency of your desire, speeding up its realization in your physical reality. Let us address the concept of resistance once more. Resistance is anything that blocks the flow of your desired reality into your experience. It often shows up as doubt, fear, or worry. When you seek repayment from the universe, release this resistance. Remember, what you resist persists. By letting go of resistance, you allow the natural flow of creation to bring about your desire effortlessly. Now, let us expand the quantum you. The quantum you is the version of you that exists in the field of all possibilities. It's the you that has already received repayment for everything you thought was lost. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are aligning yourself with this quantum version of you. Understand that you're not trying to become something you're not. You're aligning with a version of you that already exists in the quantum field. You're shifting your consciousness to match that reality. Let us discuss the power of your words once more. Your words are not just sounds or symbols. They're creative forces. They're declarations to the universe. When you seek repayment for what you thought was lost, your words must align with this desire. Speak as though you have already received your repayment. Use phrases that affirm the reality of your desire. Remember, your words are seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universe. Make sure you're planting seeds of what you want to grow in your life. Now let us address the importance of patience in this process. Patience in this context is not passive waiting. It is active trust in the law. It is knowing that what is done in consciousness must manifest in reality, and allowing that manifestation to unfold in its perfect timing. When you seek repayment from the universe, cultivate this kind of active patience. Know that your desire is manifesting even if you can't see the evidence yet. Trust in the perfect unfolding of the universe. Let us explore the concept of the present moment once more. The present moment is your point of power. It's the only place where you can make changes, where you can choose your thoughts and emotions. When you seek repayment from the universe, anchor yourself in this present moment. Many people live their lives either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. But when you do this, you're not using your power to create. You're letting your past or your imagined future control your present. Seeking repayment from the universe brings you into alignment with the power of now. Now, let us discuss the role of forgiveness in receiving repayment from the universe. Holding on to resentment, anger, or blame keeps you energetically tied to past experiences. It keeps you vibrating at a lower frequency, attracting more experiences that match that lower energy. Forgiveness is not about condoning what happened or letting someone off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the energetic burden of negative emotions. It's about choosing to vibrate at a higher frequency. As you seek repayment from the universe, practice forgiveness of others and of yourself. Let us address the concept of divine order. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are aligning yourself with divine order. You are recognizing that there is a perfect unfolding of events, even if you can't see it from your limited perspective. Trust in this divine order. Know that everything is happening for your highest good, and even when it doesn't appear that way on the surface. This trust allows you to remain calm and centered, even in the face of apparent setbacks or challenges. Now, let us explore the concept of allowing. Allowing is the opposite of forcing. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are in a state of allowing. You are opening yourself up to receive all the good that the universe has for you. Allowing doesn't mean being passive. It means being receptive. It means being open to possibilities beyond what your limited mind can conceive. It means trusting that the universe knows the best path to the fulfillment of your desires. Let us discuss the importance of self-awareness in this process. To truly receive repayment from the universe, you must be aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. You must be able to catch yourself when you slip into doubt or anxiety and consciously choose to return to a state of trust and knowing. Cultivate this self-awareness through practices like meditation, journaling, or simply taking time for quiet reflection. The more aware you are of your inner state, the more effectively you can maintain a state of alignment with your desire. Now let us address the concept of surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood as giving up or admitting defeat. But in the context of receiving repayment from the universe, surrender is a powerful act of alignment. It is surrendering your limited, egoic control to the infinite wisdom of the universe within you. When you surrender in this way, you are not becoming powerless. On the contrary, you are aligning yourself with the most powerful creative force in existence. You are allowing this force to work through you unimpeded by doubt, fear, or limited thinking. Let us explore the concept of faith once more. Faith is not blind belief. It is not hoping for the best while fearing the worst. True faith is a knowing beyond physical evidence. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are exercising this kind of faith. You are knowing the reality of your desire with such conviction that you no longer need physical proof. This unwavering faith moves mountains. It parts seas. It transforms the very fabric of your reality. Now let us discuss the importance of your self-concept in this process. Your self-concept is the sum total of your beliefs about who you are. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are adopting a self-concept of someone who is worthy and capable of receiving all good things. See yourself as a divine being, capable of creating any reality you desire. Know that you are not separate from the universe, but an individualized expression of it. This elevated self-concept naturally aligns you with the fulfillment of your desires. Let us address the concept of resistance once more. Resistance often arises when we try to control every aspect of our reality. When you seek repayment from the universe, release this resistance. Allow the infinite intelligence of the universe to work out the details of how your desire will manifest. Remember, your job is not to figure out the how. Your job is to hold the vision of your desire fulfilled and to maintain the feeling of its reality. The universe will take care of the how in ways far more wonderful than you could have imagined. Now, let us explore the concept of the law of attraction in relation to receiving repayment from the universe. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. When you align yourself with the energy of having already received repayment, you naturally raise your vibration. You align yourself with the frequency of desire. This elevated vibration attracts experiences, people, and circumstances that match it. You become a magnet for the fulfillment of your desires, effortlessly drawing to you what you need for their manifestation. Let us discuss the role of gratitude once more. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a state of being. When you seek repayment from the universe, you naturally enter a state of gratitude. You are grateful not just for what you have, but for what is coming. This state of gratitude is incredibly powerful. It aligns you with the abundance of the universe. It opens you to receive even more blessing. Practice gratitude not from a place of lack, hoping to receive, but from a place of fullness, knowing you already have. Now let us address the concept of divine timing once more. Often when we hold tightly to our desires, we create resistance to their natural unfolding. We try to force things to happen on our timeline. But the universe operates on its own divine timing, which is always perfect. When you seek repayment from the universe, align yourself with this divine timing. Release the need to control. when or how your desire will manifest. Trust that it will come at the perfect time, in the perfect way. Let us explore the concept of unity consciousness. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are recognizing your oneness with the universe. You are understanding that there is no separation between you and what you desire. It is already yours because you are one with all that is. This understanding of unity consciousness dissolves the illusion of lack. It aligns you with the infinite abundance of the universe. From this state of oneness, manifestation becomes effortless and natural. Now let us discuss the importance of detachment once more. Detachment is not indifference. It is not a lack of desire. Detachment is the state of knowing that your desire is already yours in consciousness, and therefore you do not need to anxiously pursue it in the physical world. When you are detached in this way, you are free from the fear of not getting what you want. You are free from the anxiety of when or how it will come. This freedom allows you to enjoy the present moment fully, while still holding the vision of your desire fulfilled. Let us address the concept of allowing once more. Allowing is the opposite of forcing. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are in a state of allowing. You are opening yourself up to receive all the good that the universe has for you. Allowing doesn't mean being passive. It means being receptive. It means being open to possibilities beyond what your limited mind can conceive. It means trusting that the universe knows the best path to the fulfillment of your desires. Now let us explore the concept of the mirror principle. This principle states that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are creating an inner state of abundance, fulfillment, and gratitude. This inner state will inevitably be reflected in your outer experiences. Understand that as you change your inner world, your outer world must change to match it. This is not wishful thinking. It is the operation of universal law. Let us discuss the role of patience once more. Patience in this context is not passive waiting. It is active trust in the law. It is knowing that what is done in consciousness must manifest in reality, and allowing that manifestation to unfold in its perfect timing. When you seek repayment from the universe, cultivate this kind of active patience. Know that your desire is manifesting, even if you can't see the evidence yet. Trust in the perfect unfolding of the universe. Now let us address the importance of self-love in this process once more. Self-love is not vanity or egotism. It is a recognition of your true worth as a divine being. When you truly love yourself, you naturally align with the fulfillment of your desires. As you seek repayment from the universe, cultivate deep self-love. Know that you are worthy of all that you desire, simply because you exist. This self-love creates a powerful foundation for manifesting your desires. Let us explore the concept of the quantum field once more. In quantum physics, we understand that everything is energy and possibility. Your desires already exist as potentials in this quantum field. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are aligning yourself with the version of reality where your desire is fulfilled. Understand that you are not creating something from nothing. You are selecting a reality from infinite possibilities. Your job is to align your consciousness with the reality you desire to experience. Now let us discuss the power of your focus. Where you place your attention is where you direct your energy. When you seek repayment from the universe, you are focusing on the reality of your desire fulfilled. You are directing your energy towards its manifestation. Be mindful of where you're placing your focus. Are you focusing on what you lack, on what's wrong in your life? Or are you focusing on the reality of your desire fulfilled? Remember, what you focus on expands. In conclusion, remember that the universe is about to repay you for everything you thought was lost. This repayment is not something external to you, but a shift in your consciousness. As you align with the state of having received this repayment, as you live from this assumption, you will find your outer world reshaping itself to match your inner state. Trust in the law. Have faith in your own divine nature. And above all, persist in the state of knowing that your desires are already fulfilled. For in doing so, you are exercising your divine creative power and shaping your reality according to your will. Go forth and create consciously, for the power is within you. The entire universe is at your command. You need only to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and allow your good to flow to you. And so it is.